this gentleman met Gurudev in February 2004 and took Diksha the very same month, just like the girls, just like didn't have to even think about it. And his name is Parikshit Das, and I'm very warmly welcoming you, Prabhu. You can, if you unmute yourself, I'm looking forward to your Pushpanjali very much.
Om Agyanati Mirandasya Jananjana Shilakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Gurave Gora Chandraya Radhikaya Tatalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tada Bhaktaya Namo Namah. So on this most auspicious occasion of the centennial Vyasa Puja of my beloved Gurudev, I offer my sastang dandavat pranam and my heart like flowers thousands of times at the lotus feet of Asvadir Padmarati Tamaguru Pada Padma Nichi Little Vidismo Vishnu Pada Tata Sisimad Rupa Nugachaya Vaya Srila Bhakti.Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj. And the same dandavat pranams to our illustrious Guru Parampara, and I offer my dandavat pranams to all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis that may be watching. On one of Srila Gurudev's very early tours, he arrived in Costa Rica, and the people there are very friendly, very welcoming, quite natural in their expressions of affection. And as Srila Gurudev came out of the passport or the customs doors, the devotees were assembled, and foregoing the conventional dandavat pranams, they just simply embraced Gurudev, as children might after a loving father has come home from a long absence. Now, what was really curious was there were some taxi drivers that were just aimlessly wandering around in the airport waiting to pick up a fare or a ride. And when they saw the devotees embracing this radiant personality, they too got on the queue and hugged Gurudev, welcoming him to Costa Rica. Dira Dira Jana Priyo Priya Karo Nimatsaro Pujito. One's reminded of the 6 Goswamis. Srila Gurudev was dear to both gentlemen and ruffians, always engaged in pleasing activities and completely free from envy. Even before we knew him as Gurudev, when he left home to join the Devananda Gaudiya Math, he'd only been there a very short while when a large delegation from his village came to petition Param Gurudev for his return. What an extraordinary thing. I know when I left home, my village didn't come out looking for me like that. So it's absolutely extraordinary how popular he was. Everybody loved him. But it's understandable because you see, before Mahaprabhu comes to this world, he sends his Gurujan, his seniors. And when the Lord himself appears, many associates, parikas, appear in various sripads. But even after his disappearance, Mahaprabhu continues to send his associates. And in this way, the vilas of Krishna continues and the mission of Mahaprabhu goes on. Guru Krishna Bhakti Shakti Avatar Prakash Krishna Aichai Rupe Korele Vilas. It's stating that the vilas of Krishna continues via Krishna and his 5 features. It's a flow. And very occasionally, in that flow, a very great acharya appears, a Sadguru, someone who the Brijbasis themselves call Yuga Acharya, and Western leaders might call global goodwill ambassador. An Acharya who inundates the world preaching Vishuddha Rupanuga Gaudiya Vaishnavism. You know, Gurudev conducted 30 sorties, global sorties, taking the glories of Braja Bhakti to every corner of the globe, even places like China, where Srila Prabhupada did not get to visit. And at a time when there was much confusion in devotional societies, Gurudev took the helm of the good ship Rupanuga Gaudiya Vaishnavism and powerfully brought it back on course, restoring the mission's highest conclusions. Srila Gurudev was Srila Brijbasi and Rupanuga to the core. And it's interesting because Mahaprabhu sent Srila Goswami Pad to Braj with 4 missions in mind. Lupta Tirtha Udartha, uncovering and revealing Krishna's pastime places. Vigraha Bakash, installing deities and establishing worship. The writing of devotional literatures, Bhakti Karantas. And of course, establishing Vaishnava Sadachara, the correct behaviors, procedures of devotional service. And when my Gurudev was sent by Param Gurudev to reside in Braj Mandal, he too fulfilled these missions, but in the most astonishing fashion. First up, uncovering and revealing Krishna's lost pastime places. It can't be denied that in the past, many great acharyas have led their disciples and followers on Braj Mandal Parikrama. That has happened. And some have spoken the glories of Braja in the far corners of the world, as was the case with Srila Prabhupada. But for more than 50 years, my Srila Gurudeva resided in the Dham and led countless disciples and faithful followers on complete Brajmandal Parikrama, revealing all the pastime places like no one before him. The residents and the spiritual authorities of Braj have witnessed so many great personalities' attempts to both reveal and serve the Dham, but Srila Gurudev's Nishta in the Dham, service to the Dham, and revelations of the Dham could not go unnoticed. And that is why Gurudev was awarded the title of Yugaracharya. As stated, he had not only Nishta in the Dham, but Nishta in service to the Dham. And across the years, Srila Gurudev was involved in many restoration projects within Braj, like at Udavkeri, Sarabi Kund, Brahma Kund, Bandirvat, Devasa Tila, Vishaka Kund, Kadamba Kandi. So in this way, he performed Lukta Tirtha Uttara. Point 2, the Vigraha Bakash, the installation of deities and establishing their worship. Unlike Srila Prabhupada, who established countless temples and installed a large number of deities across the globe, Gurudev insisted he wanted to construct a temple in the heart of all his disciples. He did, however, establish temples in the West and in Navadvip and Govardhan, and in Delhi he installed the highly confidential Shri Radha Raman Bihari, whose glories we will understand in the future if we're fortunate. However, Gurudev did perform one most astonishing Vigraha Prakash. He told Shyamarani, "I want you to paint my heart." And under the guidance of Shyamarani, he manifests this famous Seva Kunj painting that we all relish today, along with the Manjaris, Rupa, Rati, Vinod Manjari, and of course Gurudev's own perfected form, Guru Rupa Sati.
Speaking really nicely.
Srila Gurudev has mercifully provided these extraordinary images to help us with Vikshipta, our distracted thinking, and to improve our meditation on the goal. That is service to the divine couple in the Kunj, in the Anugatya of Guru Rupa Sati, and of course under the guidance of Rupa and Rati. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad himself revealed the further significance of this incredible painting. For he described in the Ujjvala Nilamani that when Krishna sees Radharani's face light up with Kila Kinchit Bhav, he becomes extremely happy. And despite being a beggar for Srila Radharani's affections in this instance, Rupa Goswami has revealed that this is when Krishna is in fact at his most happy. So what a special rust-laden and confidential pastime has been revealed here for our meditation, grist for the mill for our meditation. Pran Pratishta was performed, and this painting was then installed along with Sri Vigraha. And when you contemplate it, this is real Vigraha Tattva, that the deity manifests from the heart of the pure devotee in order that he all can serve his Ishtadev. And in this unique way, Srila Gurudev performed this Vigraha Prakash like none before him. Point 3, writing devotional literatures, Bhakti Granthas. It was not the sheer volume, 60 plus translated and published in English. It was his speciality, his Vaishishya. You see, prior to the appearance of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Gaudiya Vaishnavism was in a very dark place. And it was the 7th Goswami who re-established the Vichadhara of Rupa Goswami Pad. And in pursuance of maintaining that, and this was Gurudev's preoccupation, in the pursuance of maintaining that same current of conception, flowing from the 7th Goswami, my Gurudev translated and published Bhajan Rahasya by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Jaiva Dharma by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Manasiksha with the commentary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Sikshastika with the commentary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Upadeshamrita with the commentary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Brahma Samhita with the commentary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. You can see the theme. And Srila Gurudev was additionally inspired by the writings and tikas of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And with that, he published the Jvala Nilamani Kiran of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhagavatamrita Kana of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the Bhagavad Gita with the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and of course Raghavat Chandrika. So these books contain the highest conclusions of Gaudiya Vaishnavism and the teachings of Mahaprabhu, and they are the wealth of Gaudiya Vaishnava. Now, when we consider that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a personal manifestation of Gauranga Shakti, in other words, a special prakash of Gadadhar Pandit, Radharani herself, and you further consider that Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is a special Prakash of Rupa Goswami Pad, we find our Gurudev very carefully following the bars above Radha and Rupa, thus maintaining the very esoteric teachings that Sri Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give and Rupa Goswami ultimately presented. So finishing on that point, it was Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj himself, quite an authority, as they all know, who said, and I'll read, if you have a desire to know the Siddhantas of Vishuddha Rupa Nuga Gaudiya Vaishnavism, of the methodology of Gaudiya Bhajan and the spotlessly pure Vajra Ras in line with Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, then you must study the Granthas translated and published by the object of my affection, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. So Srila Gurudev, he more than adequately fulfilled this mission of composing Bhakti Granthas. Fourth point, Vaishnava Sadachar. It's mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita, of course, that maintenance of Vaishnava etiquette is the ornament of the devotee. And we saw with our Srila Gurudev, he didn't have big gold chains and wear gold rings, but he did possess that one astonishing ornament, and that was his Vaishnava etiquette, Maryada. Gurudev took sannyas back in 1952, and he has remained the tilak mark of that exalted office of sannyas ever since. His devotional behavior and dealings with others were always absolutely impeccable. Many of us who came to Gurudev, obviously we'd already received Diksha within ISKCON, but we'd never heard of Panchanga Diksha, and we had no idea how to meditate on mantras or what to speak of their true significance. We had no idea how to perform Kartik Vrat, how to truly follow Ekadashi, how to follow Chaturmas, how to offer bow. Most of them ISKCON, we were using Pranam mantra for Guru to offer bow. So we knew none of these things, how to interact with different adhikars and appropriately respect all Vaishnavas and Sampradayas, free from criticism and following the very moods of our Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. And I think prior to the appearance of Gurudev, none of us had ever heard of Vyasa Puja Sapta Panchikaps. We had no idea. We had no idea that Vyasa Puja included the worship of Vyasa Dev and that that of the whole Vyasiki Sampradaya. This was all news to us. The last Vyasa Puja I attended in ISKCON, thousands of people spoke sentimentally, and we had one big cake and a rock and roll band. So it was Srila Gurudev alone who really established Vaishnava Sadachar throughout the world. So he fulfilled these four missions of Mahaprabhu with great aplomb. So the title Rupanuga Acharya Vaya is more than fitting. His global impact, well, astonishing. 300,000 disciples proves he was a very powerful Acharya. But power is not enough. Someone may be powerful, but if they're not merciful, they won't save you. My Guru Pada Padma was both powerful and very merciful. In the Pranam mantra to Srila Sukadeva Goswami, we find it stated, Tamsava Buddha Hridayam Munamanatosmi, that he could enter the heart of everyone. And my Gurudev was just like that. When he said he was closer to you than his own breath, he was not kidding. So on the moment of this most auspicious occasion, I remember the lotus feet of my Gurudev, and I conclude here with a statement from him that says it all with reference to his mercy and his capacity to enter our hearts. Srila Gurudev said, when I see a devotee living in Vrindavan and doing his bhajan under good association, I become very happy. But when I see a devotee who is struggling to do his bhajan in the West with no association whatsoever and still trying so hard, I go inside his heart, in the heart of that devotee, and never leave him. Those devotees are like flowers in the desert and have a very special fragrance. And I have come to collect those flowers. So all my fellow flowers, I say, Jai Srila Gurudev, Ki Jai. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Haribol.
Dandavats, Parikshit Das. That was beautiful. That was actually that was similar to in the same way Yati Maharaj really expanded on the vani of Gurudev. You really expounded on the glories of Gurudev. And a couple of things I wanted to highlight. One was you were talking about how Gurudev Gurudev said about his books. You mentioned about his books, how extensive his books were, how deep his books were, how high they are. And I can't remember what the exact quote was, but it was something like, "They will come to me through my books later," or I paraphrase. Maybe you remember it, Prabhu, but it was like, it was almost like Gurudev was extraordinarily popular and attractive while he was on the planet, but through his books, he's becoming more and more attractive. And what I notice is that the kind of the permafrost or the hard walls that existed between ISKCON and Gurudev's Sangha have sort of crumbled over the years as these books have sort of secretly permeated, like some kind of like they kind of did when books came in, like Greek and Roman books came into Christian philosophy in the Middle Ages. It was almost like Gurudev's books were subtly being smuggled in through little sort of gatherings, and oh, have you seen this? And there's all these honeybees flying around, and then it just seems to be building more and more momentum. And you know, when you read his books, as opposed to being told you shouldn't come to him, they're irrepressible, they're irrefutable, and they are absolutely perfect. And how can you even challenge the authority of someone who is sharing these incredible realizations? So I really, did you want to say on that something like that?
No. I agree with everything you say there, Prabhuji, wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
absolutely the truth. And we've got many friends in ISKCON, and slowly,
it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. That's why we should never criticize ISKCON, never criticize anybody there, because it's a beautiful Leela. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Seen from one angle of vision, you can say, oh, this and that, and you criticize. Seen from another angle, it's like a beautiful, Krishna has just created this incredible unfolding Leela, this magical process of heartwarming, heart-sweetening process where we can all see bhakti in action on a daily basis. It's incredible.
Yes, it is. It's wonderful.
And I really loved your story about the taxi driver. That was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I was only told that. Obviously, I wasn't there, but I was told that story. So it always intrigued me because I could just see it happening with Srila Gurudeva.
Yeah, that was the amazing thing about Gurudev is there's something about Madhura Ras where they say in Goloka Vrindavan, there's actually more awe and reverence than in Vaikuntha, but because it's overwhelmed by sweetness, you don't see it. And I felt that in that relationship with him. I knew awe and reverence, like I knew that Gurudev could really bang the stick on my head. But I was like, he just wants me to be myself with him. And I thought, if I overstep the boundaries, he's just going to give me a smack, and that would be lovely too. So I have nothing to lose. I just felt so I used to it was win-win. I used to mess around a bit and just have a bit of a laugh with him. And you know, sometimes I'd get close to him and pretend to be his baby cow and put my head in his hands, and it's absolutely beautiful and incredible. So thank you, Prabhu.